Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. We're going to be focusing on credit cards that tend to start with a large minimum initial limit. In fact, 4 out of the 5 cards on this list are guaranteed to start at $10,000 at the very least. And in some cases, they can go far beyond that, while still giving you a way to test your odds before fully applying. A majority of the cards in this video are part of the Visa Infinite ecosystem, which comes with its own set of travel and lifestyle benefits. However, our 5th card still has a minimum starting limit of $5,000 and strong growth potential over time. So here's the key idea that I want you to understand before we go any further. Your starting credit limit matters more than most people realize. A card that starts at $10,000 has a much higher probability of growing to $30,000 or even more over the life of the account. That growth impacts your utilization, your profile strength, and your long-term approval power. Now, if you are approved for all the cards that we're discussing today on the same exact day, you'll be looking at least $45,000 in available credit from day one without maxing out your inquiries or gambling with your score. That is leverage. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, let's go over a few things before you actually apply for these cards. Now first, although every card in this video does have some sort of pre-approval tool or pre-qualification offer or some type of soft pull screening option, not every person will see the same results. Some offers are targeted or personalized. Some offers also depend on whether or not you opted out of pre-screening credit offers. That happens when you get out of some of the systems that I've talked about with secondary credit bureaus in previous videos. And when you opt out of those, you may not see the offers. Some offers are region specific. If you don't see a pre-approval offer, that does not automatically mean that you're denied, so you still may want to apply. Second, while I have researched which credit bureaus each issuer typically pulls from, credit bureau pulls can vary by region and profile. So I highly recommend that you double check any recent data points before applying. You can look at credit forums and community reports. Those are always your best friend here. And third, if you do get denied and a hard inquiry appears, I do have videos on how to remove hard inquiries and some strategies about reconsideration lines. I highly recommend that you check out those videos. I probably have talked about each major financial institution and how you can do reconsideration to get approvals or credit limit increases. And I've also put out various videos on how to remove hard inquiries. And finally, this is going to be the most important part. Every card that we're going to talk about in this video generally requires good to excellent credit, with one notable exception that we'll talk about at the very end. Now that the ground rules are set and you guys actually understand what you should be doing before applying, let's actually get into these cards. Once again, most of the cards that we're going to be discussing today will be a part of the Visa Infinite series, with one card also being a Visa Signature card. Now, Visa cards are divided into 3 main tiers: Visa Traditional, Visa Signature, and Visa Infinite. These tiers represent increasing levels of benefits, protections, and experiences, but they don't automatically guarantee that you receive everything that Visa advertises. The issuing bank that you receive your card from will have final control. Now, the base level is the standard or traditional Visa card. These cards focus on core functionality and basic protections, typically features that include zero liability protection for unauthorized transactions, fraud monitoring, emergency and replacement, and emergency cash disbursement. These are essentially table stakes benefits that almost every modern credit card offers, regardless of network. Visa also promotes limited merchant discounts and partner offers at this level, but these tend to be minor and they frequently change. For most users, a basic Visa card does not meaningfully differ from any other entry-level credit card beyond acceptance. The next tier is Visa Signature, which is where benefits start to become more noticeable. Visa Signature cards usually require stronger credit profiles and often come with higher credit limits, though the exact requirement is set by the bank. At this level, Visa introduces lifestyle and travel-focused perks. These include access to the Visa Signature Luxury Hotel Collection, which features hundreds of hotels worldwide, and many include benefits such as room upgrades, late checkout, or on-property credits when booking through Visa's platform. Visa Signature also expands protection significantly. Common benefits at this tier include extended warranty protection on purchases, purchase security for theft or damage, rental car collision damage waivers, travel and emergency assistance services, baggage delay or loss reimbursement, and sometimes price protection or return protection. Some Visa signature cards also include cell phone protection when you pay your wireless bill with a card, a benefit that has grown in popularity in recent years. Additional perks may include concierge services, dining and wine experiences, golf-related benefits, and statement credits for programs like Global Entry or TSA PreCheck. Lounge access is sometimes associated with the Visa signature card through programs like Priority Pass, but this is entirely dependent on the issuing bank, and Visa makes these benefits available, but the bank decides whether or not to activate them. The top tier is the Visa Infinite. Now, this is Visa's premium offering and typically requires a minimum credit limit of $10,000 at approval. Visa Infinite cards are designed to compete with the highest end travel and luxury cards on the market. They build on Visa signature benefits and scale them up with more premium experiences and protections. Visa Infinite emphasizes personalized service and high-end travel perks. Now, this includes access to the Visa Infinite Luxury Hotel Collection, an elevated concierge service, stronger travel insurance protections, and often primary rental car collision damage waivers rather than secondary coverage. Many Visa Infinite cards include Priority Pass, lounge access, Global Entry or TSA PreCheck credits, airline incidental fee credits, and enhanced purchase protections. In practice, many of the most recognizable premium travel cards in the US market will fall under the Visa Infinite tier. Now, despite the apparent hierarchy, the most important takeaway is that Visa branding alone does not determine how good a card is. The issuing bank ultimately decides which benefits you actually receive. A Visa Infinite card from one bank can be far more valuable than a Visa Infinite card from another. And in some cases, a strong Visa signature card can outperform a weak Visa Infinite card, which is why I put the fifth card on this list, because it is a Visa signature card that you can get even if you have bad credit. There's a strategy for that. Visa tiers mainly function as a framework. Visa Infinite tends to offer the highest potential ceiling, and Visa Signature will cover the most meaningful everyday travel benefits and basic Visa card protections that you would want. However, real-world value comes down to issuer execution. The best Visa card is not determined by whether it says Signature or Infinite on the front, but by how well the issuing bank will use that platform to deliver benefits that you will actually use. All right, so now that we understand the different tiers of Visa and we do understand the difference between a Visa Infinite and a signature card, now we can get into these high limit credit cards. So we're starting this list with one of the most popular premium travel cards on the market, and for a good reason. The Capital One Venture X has a minimum starting credit limit of $10,000, which automatically will place it in a different category than most consumer credit cards. Based on approval data, the average starting limit tends to land closer to around $19,000, with many cardholders reporting limits in the $20,000 range right out the gate. What makes this card especially powerful is not just its starting limit, but how quickly that limit can actually grow. Many approved cardholders report successful credit limit increases within 30 to 90 days, sometimes pushing their total available credit limit into the $35,000 range within just a few months. Now, I have multiple videos on this channel showing you how to raise your credit limit with Capital One. There's definitely a strategy for the Venture X. I highly recommend that you check that out. That kind of growth is rare. Capital One offers a pre-approval tool that allows you to see whether you're eligible without impacting your credit score. Now, let's talk about the benefits, because this card earns its annual fee if you actually use it. The Venture X currently offers a 75,000 mile welcome bonus when you meet the minimum spend requirements within the first 3 months. That bonus alone can easily outweigh that annual fee of $395. Every year on your account anniversary, you'll receive 10,000 bonus miles, which effectively is $100 in travel value. You also receive a $300 annual travel credit when booking through Capital One Travel, which offsets a significant portion of the annual fee by itself. If you travel internationally or frequently, the card includes Global Entry or TSA PreCheck reimbursement, which is another real cash value benefit. The variable APRs for this card range approximately from 19.49% to 28.49% at the time of recording, and that depends on your credit profile. Capital One typically pulls from all 3 credit bureaus, although there are documented cases where applicants have frozen one bureau and still receive an approval based on the remaining 2. Again, I have a video that covered this in my Secrets of Capital One. You can definitely check that video out. But that strategy requires careful timing and it's not always guaranteed, but it is something you should be aware of. If you already have a relationship with Capital One, your chances of higher limits and faster growth increase significantly. And I've seen Venture X approvals as low as a 675, but the recommended credit score would be like a 750 to get approved for this card, among other data points. Moving into the second card on this list, and this one has been a heavyweight in the premium travel card space for years, the Chase Saphire Reserve, which does come with a minimum starting credit limit of $10,000. Based on approval data and long-term reporting, most approved cardholders tend to start well above the minimum, often landing around $15,000 to $25,000, depending on income and your existing Chase relationship, as well as your overall credit strength. What makes the Saphire Reserve compelling is not just the initial starting limit, but the stability of the account over time. Chase is known for being conservative up front, but once trust is established, limits tend to hold strong and age exceptionally well depending on your credit profile. Chase does offer pre-approval and a pre-qualification tool for select users, allowing you to check eligibility without immediately triggering a hard inquiry. Now, these offers are often found in your Chase online account or targeted emails or general Chase pre-approval portals. Now, I did put a link down in the description if you want to check that out. I also have it down there for the Capital One card if you want to look at that too, and it'll be down there for all the cards on this list. But I wouldn't depend on that necessarily to get the offer. Again, if you opted out of anything and you're not in those offers anymore, you may not see that you qualify even when you may actually be approved. And that's the same with most Chase products. Offers can be highly personalized, so not seeing one, once again, does not automatically mean you'll be denied. Now, let's talk about the benefits because this is where the Saphire Reserve earns its reputation. The Chase Saphire Reserve typically offers a welcome bonus that hovers around 60,000 ultimate reward points, depending on the current promotion and required spend. As of the recording of this video, you can receive 125,000 points for your welcome bonus offer. When redeemed through the Chase Travel Portal, those points are worth 50% more, giving them a higher effective value than standard cash redemptions. This card does carry a $795 annual fee, but every year you'll receive a $300 annual travel credit that applies to a broad range of travel purchases. On top of that, you earn elevated rewards on travel, dining purchases, access to premium travel protections, and Visa Infinite benefits that include rental car coverage, trip delay reimbursement, and purchase protection. Now, these benefits are subject to change, so always keep that in mind. The card also includes global entry or TSA pre-check reimbursement, which does add real tangible value if you travel even just a few times per year. The variable APR on this card will generally fall between 19.49% to 27.99%, once again depending on your credit profile. And like most premium travel cards, this is not a card you want to carry a balance on long term. From a credit bureau standpoint, Chase most commonly pulls from Experian, although I have seen Equifax and TransUnion pulls. They have been reported in certain regions, but as most of you know, it's usually Experian. And one critical rule to be aware of with this card is Chase's 524 rule, which means you must have opened fewer than 5 personal credit cards in the past 24 months to be approved. In terms of credit score requirements, I have seen some approvals that are reported in the high 600s under very specific conditions, but realistically, you'll probably need a 740 to a 760 credit score combined with solid income, low utilization, and clean payment history, and that's the safest range that you should be in if you want to get approved for this card. If you already have an established relationship with Chase through checking accounts, savings accounts, or existing credit cards, your approval odds will definitely increase and you'll definitely have the chance of getting a higher starting limit. So if that is you or that sounds like you, then definitely try applying for this card if the pre-approval option doesn't work in the beginning. Next on the list is a card designed for individuals with strong financial profiles and the ability to leverage a banking ecosystem. And that's going to be the Bank of America Premium Rewards Elite credit card, and this comes with a minimum starting limit of course, $10,000. Now, most approved cardholders report a starting limit in the $15,000 to $25,000 range, with higher limits commonly tied to income, asset levels, and an existing Bank of America or Merrill relationship. What makes this card different from others on this list is that it becomes significantly more powerful when you pair it with Bank of America's Preferred Rewards program. Chase and Capital One rewards spend, Bank of America rewards loyalty and assets. Now, this card does have a welcome bonus of 75,000 points, which is a value of $750 once the spending requirement is met within the first 90 days. Now, I want to talk about the benefits because this card is built to offset its annual fee through usage. The Premium Rewards Elite card carries a $550 annual fee, but it also includes automatic statement credits that can substantially reduce or even eliminate that cost if you use the benefit strategically. You receive airline incidental credits that apply to qualifying purchases like seat upgrades, baggage fees, and lounge access, and for frequent flyers, that alone can recapture a large portion of that annual fee. You also earn elevated rewards on travel and dining purchases, along with unlimited points on all other spending, and those points do not expire as long as the account remains open. And if you do qualify for preferred rewards, your earnings can increase by 25%, 50%, or even 75% depending on the tier that you fall into. And that kind of boost can turn an already strong reward structure into one of the most lucrative setups available. From an approval standpoint, this card does require excellent credit, and Bank of America is more conservative than some other issuers when it comes to new premium accounts. I did link a pre-qualification page down in the description. However, it will ask you to sign into Bank of America. Many approvals are driven by targeted offers and existing banking relationships rather than just a public application portal. And one important consideration is that credit limit increases often require hard inquiries with Bank of America, and it's typically from Experian. And because of that, timing really does matter, and this is not a card where you want to just randomly request credit limit increases. This card is best suited for individuals who already keep assets with Bank of America or Merrill, and you want a premium card that integrates seamlessly into that ecosystem. Now, some of you guys who have been watching my channel for a while know that I used to work at Bank of America, and my department was Preferred Rewards. And Preferred Rewards is a system where you have to at least have $20,000 in your account to meet the gold status. There's gold, there's also platinum, there's platinum honors, and then there's diamond honors. You honestly need to have an account with Preferred Rewards with at least platinum or diamond honors, which means $50,000 to $1 million in a checking account with Bank of America. And I've seen this card as high as like $80,000 on one account. And I know it can definitely go higher than that. It basically depends on how much money you leave in your account with Bank of America. So if you're able to leverage Preferred Rewards, then this card can quietly become one of the most powerful high limit credit cards on the market. Our next card on the list consistently ranks among the highest starting limit airline cards available to consumers, and that's going to be the Chase United Club Infinite. And like the other cards on this list, this card will start at $10,000 for the initial credit limit, and based on approval data, many applicants start well above that minimum. Some people have started around $20,000 and even $30,000 depending on income, credit strength, and overall Chase exposure. What makes the United Club Infinite particularly strong is that Chase treats this card as a true premium airline product. So that means approvals are more selective, but limits tend to be more generous and stable once the account is opened. And once again, Chase does offer that pre-approval page that I have down in the description, and you can use it, but many applicants will see the offer through the United Mileage Plus app or targeted emails or their Chase online account. And as always, not seeing the offer does not automatically mean that you'll be denied. Now let's talk about the benefits of this card. The Chase United Club Infinite typically offers a large welcome bonus, often around 90,000 mileage plus miles, depending on the current promotion and the required spend. For frequent United flyers, that bonus alone can represent significant value towards future travel. Now, this card does have an annual fee of $695, but this is where the value equation shifts. Unlike many premium cards, this fee is largely justified through direct access and usage rather than just a statement credit alone. Cardholders receive full United Club lounge access, not just limited passes, and if you fly United regularly, this benefit can easily outweigh the annual fee. You also earn elevated rewards on United purchases, strong mileage multipliers on travel, and additional benefits such as priority boarding, free checked bags, and access to expanded rewards. The card also includes global entry or TSA pre-check reimbursement, no foreign transaction fees, and a wide range of travel protections, including trip delay coverage, baggage insurance, and purchase protection. From a credit perspective, Chase most commonly pulls from Experian, as we talked about before, and of course, like the Saphire Reserve, this card will be tied to the Chase 524 policy. If you have opened 5 or more personal credit cards in the past 24 months, approval is extremely unlikely regardless of your credit score. And in terms of credit requirements, while there are occasional approvals that are reported in like the low 700s, a 740 to 780 credit score for this card with strong income, low utilization, and clean payment history is the safest range to target for this card. If you already have an established relationship with Chase or United Mileage Plus, your approval odds and starting limit will definitely improve. And for travelers who consistently fly United and want a high starting limit premium travel experience and long-term credit stability, then this card is one of the strongest options available. Now, the final card on our list will be the Navy Federal Flagship Rewards Visa Signature Card. Now, this card has a minimum starting limit of $5,000, which on paper looks, a lot lower than the others. However, that number does not tell the full story. Data points consistently show average starting limits that are closer to around $15,000, with some members reporting significantly larger approvals depending on their relationship with Navy Federal. What sets Navy Federal apart is that credit score alone does not determine approval strength. Relationship matters more here than anything else. Members who actively use Navy Federal checking accounts, saving accounts, pledge loans, and direct deposits routinely receive higher limits and faster growth. Credit limit increases can be requested after 91 days and then every 6 months thereafter. Now, the max increase per request is typically $8,000, and over time, members have grown modest limits into extremely large lines. There is an overall exposure cap across Navy Federal accounts of $80,000, and this is the only card that you can have a max limit of $80,000 on one account. The Flagship Rewards card offers a low annual fee, strong travel rewards, global entry or TSA pre-check reimbursement, and competitive APRs compared to major banks. Navy Federal typically pulls from TransUnion, and approval is possible with fair credit when supported by strong internal relationship data. So for someone who's rebuilding their credit or transitioning from secured products into premium cards, this card represents a realistic, powerful progression path. Now, as you guys know, I have an entire video that shows you how to get this card, starting with bad credit. I highly recommend that you watch that video if you're interested in getting approved for this card. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down in the description if any of you guys were pre-qualified for any of these Visa Infinite cards, and if you were approved for any of these cards, please drop your data points below. That information is definitely useful to somebody else that may actually want to apply for some of these cards. And once again, I know cards in the Visa Infinite series definitely require a much thicker credit profile and definitely require you to have well-established credit. However, there are options like the Navy Federal Flagship card that can be an entry point for you to get higher limits without having perfect credit. If you guys would like to learn more about the Visa Infinite cards, drop a comment below saying Visa Infinite. I'd be more than happy to make a dedicated video to just that alone. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. You have a wonderful day.